Hi, this is Nick Malone, the editor for FistShark Marketing. If you like the show, you can support us through Patreon, and as a backer, you'll have access to my ever-expanding archive of outtakes, including the jokes that are too truly tasteless to make the regular show. For just a few dollars a month, less than the cost of traditional blackmail, you can help me guarantee that none of these people ever runs for public office. Just go to fistshark.com and click on the Patreon logo for more information. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, Caitlin. This is Walter Dementulos down in Research and Development. Sorry to be calling you directly, but my secretary Amber is out sick, and I wasn't sure who to contact about requisitioning some new equipment for the labs. First, we need traps for a medium to large size animal, maybe bigger. As you know, we're close to perfecting online DRM and house pets. Unfortunately, in areas without Wi-Fi, the implants begin emitting intense fields of electromagnetic radiation, and I don't need to tell you what that does to organic DNA. We also need a crate of pine tree air fresheners to eliminate the foot smell from Alpha Lab. Oh, and I need next of kin information for test subject 27. He's not dead, but he is more athlete's foot than man now, and I need them to sign some additional waivers. On another note, I had a visit by a Dr. Nitzcream, who claimed to be our company physician. When did we get health care? Would my insurance cover a self-inflicted right temporal parietal junction lobotomy? Just asking. Anyway, while eating part of my lunch and making off with a stationery from my desk, Dr. Nitzcream brought up the number of chickens infesting the office. I'll round up a few for testing and see if we can't make them useful for something. Oh, and if you see Jim, remind him that just because my name is Walter, I'm not going to produce blue meth with a barrel of methylamine he found behind a Home Depot. Regulations state we can't use lab equipment for recreational purposes. He needs to submit Form 33S and prove he intends to sell the meth before I can produce it. Okay? Bye-bye.
Now, Paul Rudd has finally come to us with an idea. He's been promising for about 2 years now that he's got something awesome to show us, and then just kind of went and continued to make movies. But he has finally laid down a design document for something, and before I sign off on it, I want to run it by you guys, because I'm worried that it might not be allowed or possible.
Well, we've had some tasks that have come our way before that we haven't been able to, it's not like we haven't been able to overcome any of them, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we are in marketing. It is our job to make the impossible possible.
Okay, well, Paul Rudd wants to open a chain of family-style dining restaurants, eateries. Simple, general fast food, maybe down by the coast. That's where his sort of coastal towns are where he wants to start, and then maybe encroach further inward. That's more or less the basic idea.
Well, doesn't sound like a problem to me.
No. I mean, it's celebrity-managed food chains are becoming a real trend lately. I don't know if you know about Wahlburgers. Of course, the chain of burger restaurants that the Wahlberg family has launched, done very, very well.
Yeah. This one's called Ruddfückers.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and it's more than just a name. It's very thematically tied into the whole ethos of the restaurant. That's the issue. I mean, you know, the burger menu he gave me, all the classic favourites. You've got your cheeseburger, you've got your bacon cheeseburger, you got your double bacon cheeseburger, you got your cowboy burger, you got your turkey burger. Really good looking menu, simple food, decently cooked. I mean, he gave me a sample meal and it's really good. It's just, the restaurant's called Ruddfückers, and the tagline is, when you wanna fuck a Rudd, go to Ruddfückers.
Well, how amenable is he to removing the fuckers part?
Not very amenable at all. In fact, violently opposed. Because he says that's the whole point of it. Which leads me to the other issue. I am fairly certain, but I don't know my state law as well as obviously you guys, who have been in this gracious country longer than I have. Is it legal and or tasteful to have various television monitors around the walls of the restaurant playing explicit, hardcore pornographic material with Paul Rudd's face superimposed onto all of the performers, male and female.
No, I could see why you would have concerns about that, because no, that would probably not work.
The issue here is the food.
Right, yeah.
This is a food establishment.
Exactly. Like, this could work under certain circumstances. Like, that kind of entertainment might be acceptable in some places, but family dining, not one of them.
Okay, because I will admit, it's hard to concentrate on the food. In fact, I felt like I enjoyed the food less, which is a testament, actually, to how good the food is, that I enjoyed it as much as I did. But I felt like I enjoyed it less with what can only be described as a cacophonous din of sex grunts and noises, as every single monitor has its own speaker system cranked up to max volume, playing the sound simultaneously of all of the sex.
Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's a challenge.
Well,
like,
what really impresses me is that the central speaker system, which, normally would play music in any other restaurant, just has Paul Rudd on a loop going, ooh, ooh, stick it in. I should have played the Green Lantern. I don't know why he's doing that voice either. It's just, ooh, ooh, stick it in, yeah! I'm the Green Lantern.
We might have something here. Paul Rudd has a very large following as of late. In fact, his numbers have been up about 27% in the past quarter. I mean, would he be willing to take the food part out of the equation and just keep it as a, Paul Rudd fuckhouse?
You say focus less on the meat and French fries.
Maybe entirely remove it?
Entirely remove it.
Entirely remove it,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, I'll run it by him. I'll run all these ideas by him, but, I mean, he really was concerned that this is a restaurant first. Like, that's his dream. He says he's always wanted to open a restaurant. He feels that he could bring something new, fresh, and invigorating to the dining experience. So I don't know if he'd be willing to run what will essentially just be a porno house. Because he seems to consider the pornographic material important, but not smutty.
I kind of want a burger. That's the weird thing. The more we talk about this, it's all unsettling and disgusting.
But the more I feel the same way, because if I'm honest, as tasty as the burger was, I actually threw it up in a dumpster in the alleyway outside. It made me very ill for about 2 or 3 days. But every time I think of Paul Rudd going, oh, I should have been the Green Lantern, I really want another one.
All right, well, first of all, we may have an issue with just getting the name past.
People don't like to see Rudd in their name.
Oh no,
restaurant.
No, it's the fuckers.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, Rudd.
It's the fuckers.
It's 2 words. Rudd fuckers.
Right.
I thought it was Ruddfückers.
I can see based on this logo design how that could have been confusing. That's a penis.
Yes. You can see a white series of dots coming out the bottom.
Right.
He's got another one with a nipple on the end, so it's like a big boob. But he said he preferred what he called the gloriously spunking dick.
Well, yeah, and obviously your eye is just immediately drawn.
Just drawn.
Drawn to. So I could see where you could make the mistake. The Ruddfückers, yeah.
Uckers. I thought Uckers was another word for Paul Rudd.
So just a name alone, from the word go, we may have an issue. Now, maybe if we can make sure that it is formatted as Ruddfückers.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I understand that Ruddfuckers might be an issue in some conservative states. Ruddfuckers, I mean, that could be anything. People will look at that and think they'll think it's called Rudd Paul Rudd, if they're anything like me and think Uckers means Paul Rudd. in German.
Well, and I think what would be really fun about that is then people can say, hey, we're going to head down to Uckers.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a little slang thing to it. Everyone knows you mean Ruddfückers.
It's like when you say Mackie D's instead of McDonald's.
Right. Get that little just casual slang that creates an intimate connection between the consumer and the brand.
Or Zahut instead of Pizza Hut.
Right. Yeah.
Or Burger King.
You hear that a lot.
You do.
You really do.
In fact, all this talk of burgers, I may go and get us some Burger King for the mid-meat break. What is a Green Lantern?
So I don't know if you two have been following the whole Play-Doh debacle recently. Hasbro has released a new set of fun Play-Doh toys for children with an object in the kit that looks very much like a penis.
I thought that's what it was supposed to be.
Well, regardless of their intentions, they've submitted a recall of sorts and they're issuing new parts, and they've left FistShark marketing with the opportunity to take these penis-shaped parts and, well, market them. They've already sunk in a lot of money into this kit, and they can't really, this is the only way they can recoup those costs. So, we now have on our hands just about 40,000 boxes of these plastic Play-Doh penises.
This is like a syringe type thing that's got a plunger, and you fill it with presumably Play-Doh, and it squeezes out this sort of mushroom tip.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the function of this veiny spiral going all the way up it? Is that a ribbed for her pleasure thing, or is that just strictly decorative?
I'd just like to point out that it's ribbed, but for nobody's pleasure. Like, it's very harsh, and there's a lot of friction.
Thank you, Jim. I don't know what Hasbro's intentions were. I don't know if this is something that just came out of the factory, if this was an intentional thing, but they're okay with kind of whatever direction we want to go with this. So I'd like to propose that we move forward with perhaps a line of Play-Doh at night for adults.
A kind of Play-Doh after dark scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of potential there. There's a whole lot of move right now towards nostalgia marketing. You know, as the Gen Xers are now reaching middle age, we have things like Skeletor promoting Honda. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have Gem ad. They're great ads. You get to see this more and more occurring. And I think that the opportunity to expand these kinds of nostalgia marketing efforts into other markets would be fantastic. I don't think anybody's really opened up nostalgia sex toys. We could be the first.
I am a little bit concerned about Jim's assessment of the product, but I think we could fly in a few additional test marketers. And, even if it doesn't turn out to be ribbed for her pleasure, maybe we could market it as like a Spencer's type toy, to be brought out at bachelorette parties, to be played with.
Entertainment use only is the greatest 3 words in the English language.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we got to sell all of those discount AK-47s in the 90s with that. Just filled them up with water. I mean, it shot an inch out, but the Russians found better uses for it. Wasn't very entertaining.
Still, we made a few bucks, and that's what matters.
That's the only thing that matters. I really like this whole idea of nostalgic sexual exploration. When I was 17, I tried to build myself a Lego vagina. It was unpleasant, but I have fond memories of that time.
So, because of this whole debacle, it got me thinking a little bit more about how we can help our clients with these types of issues moving forward. As you say, how can we help them not make products shaped like dicks?
Like a team of experts.
I think we can all agree that there are just times, while it's always, a dick is a pleasant thing to have around, an unexpected dick, a surprise dick, generally unwelcome.
Can you imagine how much more successful Kevin Sorbo's brand of vibrating toothbrushes would have been if he'd have had an analyst there, an advisor there, to say a toothbrush shouldn't be 10 inches long, bright pink, have balls, and a realistic jelly foreskin, and it shouldn't spunk, and put some bristles on it and call it a toothbrush.
Exactly. That's if someone had been there.
Yeah, like, he blew it. He literally and figuratively. He really messed up there, because it had no function as a toothbrush. And he's a Christian man. He was devastated when he found out what people were actually doing with it. Even worse, the fact they were imagining it was Kevin's while they were using it.
He was livid. Absolutely livid.
He's very against women receiving pleasure, in a sexual sense. Goes against his devout beliefs. The idea that women were using his vibrating toothbrushes with realistic creaming mechanisms.
You're right, Caitlin. You're right. We need to be on the scene for everything. For any opportunity that say, hey, is that phallic?
Yeah. That looks too much like a penis.
We need a dick man.
I think FistShark marketing, no one is better at knowing what looks like a penis than we. Who better than us?
That is true. The endless parade of dick pics that we just have scrolling around the office like a stock ticker makes us stand out as authorities, I think, on what a penis should look like.
Yes.
And what a penis does look like.
Well, it's often said that you can't turn your head anywhere in the FistShark offices without seeing a penis.
And that's by design.
It's absolutely by design. It's first we got to distract people from Craig because he's an ugly fucker, and second, you've got to be reminded of what it's all about at the end of the day. In marketing,
we need a full force of dick men and women to go out to our clients and sit there and have a representative from the company walk up, place the product in front of them. They look at it and they say, yes, this looks like a dick.
Yeah. I mean, why has this service not been in place before? Too many companies have fallen prey to this subconscious desire to make everything look like a penis. And never again is what I want to say. Hashtag never again.
That's right. If you're going to design something that looks like a penis, we want that to have been your intent from the get-go.
No more accidental penis.
No more, oops, penis.
Yeah, no more, oh, the balls have no function, but they looked nice.
No more, oh, that tapering at a 45-degree angle with the curve underneath and the fully formed glands may not have a purpose, but we thought it was charming. No, it's not it's not aesthetically pleasing to make a penis by mistake.
That Dora the Explorer backpack does not need a gooch leading to a small puckered anus that you're supposed to put pencils in.
No more Whoopsie-Penis. It should be our tagline for the year.
So, another... I don't know. I don't know if it's bad news or what. It's a thing which has happened again.
Okay.
But Mario Lopez has been arrested.
Has he? There's a surprise.
Yeah. I wish he would just fly straight or not. But yeah, he was arrested after he was stopped by the manager of Ruby Tuesdays in Glendale. Mm-hmm. Where he ordered a meal, got up when the meal arrived, took the plate, and ran out the front door.
This is the second time Mario Lopez has been arrested for running out of a Ruby Tuesdays with a plate of dinner.
I like the guy. He's a good guy, right? I mean, deep down, I think he is a good guy.
He's too good. That's the problem. Well, it wouldn't be a problem if his current state of being and his career goals lined up. Right. I don't know what he's playing at.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. He has everything. He has steady work. He makes decent money.
Not great work, but consistent.
Yes, he gets to work all the time, and
he's not Mark Paul Gosselaar.
No,
but he's not Dustin Diamond. He's in that nice, keeps his head down, does his time, makes his money. He's a steady earner. He is solid.
And he got that way because he is consistent. He shows up for work on time. He does his business. He keeps his head down, gets the job done.
Yeah.
And that's why he is the guy you go to when you need to host a fitness special of some kind. You know, or a dancing event.
He will never hurt for guest hosting gigs on reality TV shows.
Unless he follows through on this ridiculous dream he has of being the bad boy. Mm-hmm. Which I just don't understand. You have it all. Why trade that in?
Well, to his credit, Ruby Tuesday's finger-licking Cajun combo is the bomb, first off.
Right, but you can't... Okay, but dining and dashing, all right, that's a 14-year-old crime. You know, that's the kind of thing that you do, you know, when you're in your early 20s and you're starving, not when you're the late 30s host of So You Think You Can Dance This Week.
But we've seen these cases before. I mean, Winona Ryder with the shoplifting. It's like a step back into infancy.
But the other problem is that he can't even do it right.
That's
right?
my issue. It's the inability to go the whole way with anything. Either continue being a straight-laced, workaday, rock-solid prospect and fill that niche and make your money, or go full Ed Furlong with it, go full, Macaulay Culkin with it, commit some actual crimes, maybe get pulled over by the cops drunk and say something anti-Semitic, something that will get headlines generated, something that will be talked about on the soup, but he lacks the imagination or the sheer sociopathy to really commit to this, which is why we have him running out of Ruby Tuesdays with a full plate of dinner, which is why we have him go to see Saw 5 at movie theatres, and he just goes the whole way through until he's thrown out. This is why he went to the Coke Museum in Atlanta and got escorted from the premises, because he kept emphatically contradicting everything the tour guide was saying. Like, he thought he would get on the front cover of Heat magazine in some Mario Lopez crime shocker for that photograph that he orchestrated someone taking of a security guard politely asking him to leave the Coke Museum because every time someone said Coke did this, he went, no they didn't.
What's strange about that is that afterwards, he's like, hey, sorry about that, I'll see you later, and he does the charming Mario Lopez. So nobody gets actually mad enough at him to think he's an asshole.
Well, it amazes me. He's done this to the Ruby Tuesdays in Glendale twice, and they've not even barred him.
No.
They're so charmed because he'll come back the next day. They catch him, he pays for it, he comes back the next day, has a full meal without incident, pays, tips very well. Apologizes for the whole thing.
Is it a long game that he's trying to play? It's like that he's gonna build these up bigger because, I watched him litter once, and, he pulled a pack of gum out of his pocket and chewed the gum and took the wrapper and just looked at me like those cold, dead eyes. Just stared at me and dropped the litter. And the second that the litter hit the ground, he arched one eyebrow like, what you gonna do? And I was intimidated.
Well, he's a big man.
But then he smiled, and he shrugged, and on we went.
That little shrug with the eye roll he does as if to say, what a nut bar I am. Because he thinks that we think it's funny or somehow endearing. Like, he thinks he's gonna be the next, like when Britney Spears or Sinead O'Connor went through their wild phases. He thinks this is his moment. But he's not shaving his hair.
No.
He's not getting fucked up on drugs. He's not assaulting journalists. The worst crime he has committed to date is when he ran into a butcher shop and tried to eat the raw sausages before getting pulled back out. He managed to lick half of one. The worst that happened was they couldn't sell 2 sausages because he'd had his hands on them and they couldn't tell. And he kept saying, I've not washed my hands, I've not washed my hands. You sell that, it's murder, and we're in it together.
But then he came back and he paid for him the next day.
Paid for him, yeah. And then bought more.
Yeah, well, he bought 3 pounds of ground chuck. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, you didn't see what he did with the ground chuck. He went to his home, invited me over, said we're going to have a ground chuck dinner. I went over, and he'd written on the floor of his kitchen in ground chuck the word fuckhole. What's the point of that? He said, I'm destabilizing society. It's your kitchen floor, you idiot. And then he went, fuck.
You know, we should have known this was coming when he came into the office to sign his papers. Remember when he kicked that waste bin over next to Craig and told him to pick it up? And we all laughed?
Yeah.
But when he left, he apologized. He actually apologized to Craig.
That is where I thought he might actually be sick.
Yeah, that's troubling behavior.
Well, I had a word with him about that, and he said, I told him, I said, look, you can keep doing all your stuff. You can keep, letting tires down and writing a check and leaving it on the car to pay for the damage you just did. You can do that. I mean, I don't think that's going to help your career. But don't go say sorry to Craig, because it'll give him bad ideas.
We've spent way too much time in litigation to have any of that work undone.
Yeah. But he understood that and said he just won't talk to Craig. Because he says it's not in his nature to be rude. So, even to something like Craig. So he's just going to keep away from him. Which is a fair enough compromise. And that's the other problem with Mario Lopez, is he's so agreeable. And always wants to find the middle ground.
That's gonna be forever the issue with him being the bad boy. He is ever searching for the middle ground in everything. And he's trying to find the middle ground between his career as the straight-laced, nice guy, doing all the right things, with the bad boy, causing trouble, reckless endangerment individual. I mean, crying out loud, we told him we'd find him a drug dealer and get this it would just be a matter of a couple of weeks and it'd be under control. He could go in that direction. And what did he say? No, can't do that. Drugs upset my tummy.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a very sensitive stomach. Won't touch drugs. Doesn't like much alcohol. He'll have a glass of white wine with his dinner sometimes. And it's that attitude, that pointless, self-defeating attempt to strike a balance, which sees him going on Amazon ordering laser pens, showing off that he's going to get up to so much mischief with them, and then just putting it in the drawer with the others and never touching it again.
Yeah, you could actually wreak some havoc. You could make some headlines with a laser pointer.
Absolutely. There are very few things that a laser pointer can't do that involves the pointing of a red dot on a thing.
Exactly, but he won't actually go the full step and use it. He won't pull the trigger on the laser pointer. And that's going to be his problem. It's fear, I think. And I think he doesn't really want it deep down, Mm-hmm. Because I think Mario Lopez can accomplish anything he sets his mind to.
Yeah.
And he set his mind to having a very middling, low-key, simple career. And he achieved it, which is something that I would say is the envy of Hollywood.
Hell, it's the envy of me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like having to live in a palatial estate, right?
No! There is so much floor space for my cleaners to clean.
But that was what life dealt you.
Those were the cards that were laid on the table. Mario Lopez can always shuffle the deck. He doesn't want to, because it's a good hand. And he doesn't want to overplay that hand. Or use a Joker card. Or the King of Diamonds. Poker face.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Caitlin Cook. Walter Dementulos was written and performed by Mike Wallace. Theme music by Ben Rama. Segue music by Alizar Chand. Our editor is Nick Malone. Get more episodes and learn how to help support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, the sexiest models are statistical. Goodbye.